Testing, testing, testing. So, uh, I'm just coming on here to rant a little about something that happened to me this morning. I went to work and I work maybe like 30 minutes out, and I have this parking lot sweeping job, and I got up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 or something, to go to my job and get my shit done. Because I have to kind of work when no one's around. That's the goal, to like have as little people around as possible when you're working, so that you can get all the trash and not have it under people's car and not have to reach under people's car to get the trash. So I'm there at 4 o'clock in the morning doing my shit. I get in my car, I watch a little YouTube video, like maybe 10 minutes worth of YouTube, and then I go to start my car and nothing happens. Now, I um I don't know a lot about cars. I'm one of those people who like, oh, like the engine light comes on or some light comes on and I'm like, okay, we'll take it to the shop. I don't know a lot about cars at all, and I don't really plan to learn either. So when stuff like this happens, I'm just like, immediately I go into panic mode. Like that's just what I do. So I call Kelfie, and usually Kelfie has some type of like advice on what I should do. This time he knew nothing. So he just called his brother, who by happenstance is a mechanic, like lucky for me. Like I felt really unlucky at the time, but the fact of the matter is, like, my husband's brother just so happening to be a mechanic. Like that's pretty damn lucky, if I do say so myself. Like, so, and on top of that, he was like up. He was not like he was up at the time. He wasn't even asleep, so it wasn't like I was waking him up out of his sleep to get him to come and help me. He was awake already. But even still, I don't like inconveniencing people at all. But so, like, he comes all the way over, only for me to realize, oh, it's not a battery issue. He doesn't need to jump me like it was a key fob issue. And this is, like, let me just say this for a second. It has nothing to do with the overall issue, but fuck these car manufacturers for making it so, like, you can't just have a key and put it in the fucking car and start it that way. Like, why in the world? Like, you know what I mean? It's like, guy, you know, it's like, why would you have, like, the car itself has a battery. Why would you make it so you need the key fob to have a battery so that you can start the car? That makes no sense to me. Like, and why wouldn't you have a second mechanism, a backup mechanism, where you can just put the key in the fucking ignition and start the car that way? Like, there's just no reason for that shit. But okay, like, past that, past all that. Like, I hate the fact that I had him come all the way out. Like, granted, it wasn't that long of a drive. He was already up. Like, all these things, you know, he's my husband's brother. He's happy to help me. Like, all of these things, like, it's fine. Ultimately, it's fine. But I don't like asking people for help. I don't like, acknowledging my humanity in that way, because like, asking for help, it makes me feel so small and vulnerable, and I hate that feeling. I really do. Like, it reminds me that how reliant I am upon, like, all of humanity itself. Like, we love to think, oh, I'm doing this all by myself and I don't need anybody. But the fact of the matter is, like, at any given point, you have 1,000 different people's hands on whatever you're doing. Whatever it is you think you're doing by yourself, you're actually getting help from 1,000 plus people. Like you don't grow your own food, bitch. You wouldn't even be alive if certain people weren't getting dirty, getting their hands dirty and like pulling fucking food out of the ground. Like, you don't provide your own gas. The people who pull the gas from the ground and the truckers who transport it to you do that. You know, like you don't build the infrastructure that allows you to freely roam wherever you want to in your car. There's so many things that like you're completely reliant upon humanity for. You don't even think about it. And like, but when shit like this happens, this small shit, you know, your car won't start. Oh my god, I gotta call somebody from my inner circle to come help me because I can't do it by myself. Fuck, you know, shit like that happens. You realize it gobsmacked you in the fucking face. Oh my god, I'm completely reliant on other people. Not completely reliant, like I have a certain amount of control over my own life, but overwhelmingly so. You really are reliant upon like humanity. Like, we're social creatures. We do need each other. Like, we're set up this way to help each other. Like, but I don't like that feeling. I would rather not. You know, like I just have this that's not a word. Detestment. I just don't like being a part of humanity most days. I feel like people and the places they live are garbage. I just feel like we as a species are just so fucking shit, and I don't know. I like to put myself above it sometimes and pretend that I'm not a part of this shit factory that perpetuates itself through the will to live and need for power. All these things that humans conceptualize within their little pocket of existence, you know. I would rather pretend that I'm not of that I'm not affiliated. Like, I'd like to just pretend that I'm an alien, but then stuff like this happens, and I'm like, oh no, no, I'm very much human, and I need humans, and I just don't like that feeling. I'm just one of those people who's like, I don't mind helping people for whatever reason. I don't mind helping people, but I don't like people helping me, and I don't like asking for help, and I don't. It's just the whole concept of like the powerlessness, the true powerlessness. Like, in a way, you're in control, but I also believe that in a lot of ways you're not. Like, not even in when it comes to like providing for yourself, but also in the context of like, oh, like your genes want you to do certain things. And then on top of that, your environment like pushes you in certain ways. So your genes and your environment, like that's the majority of whatever is controlling you, whatever is pushing you to make certain decisions with your life. Most of that is coming from your genes and your environment. That like the genes reacting to that environment. So you making a big deal out of, oh, like, I should have made this, I should have done this, I did this and I'm great, or I didn't do this and I'm awful. All that shit and everything in between. Like, it goes up in a puff of smoke, you know, when you realize like you don't really have that much control. And true, like, will, and like, and like, uh there's no real self-control. There's no real willpower. Like, things are happening for you, you're just kind of experiencing it. And then on top of that, like, you can't even have any kind of sense of control, because every other second you're reminded that you don't have that much control of your life, and things are happening around you and for other people, and people are just doing, you know what I mean? All that together. And on top of everything, you realize, oh, like, I need people, I need outside influences to help me, keep me afloat. Like, I can't do this all by myself. Not only am I not in control of myself, but other people aren't in control of themselves. And yet we need each other in order to continue to hold on to some sort of sense of overall control. You know, it gets to me sometimes. It really fucking gets to me. All of it. And it's like, it's just funny how, like, small shit like this triggers, like, a long ass rant like this. Like, this is nothing. This is a non-situation. Like, this is just a run-of-the-mill shit. Like, oh, like, your car wouldn't start. Like, you gotta troubleshoot. Gotta have somebody to come over and, like, help you troubleshoot, because you don't know much about cars. Like, it's not a big deal. But my brain is making it a big deal because it wants control. Like, that's what it is. That's what all this is about. Like, I just want control over my own life. And I just know on some level that I'll never truly have that. Like, and it bothers me. It bothers me so much. Like, I truly wish that I could just live the life that I want to live. Like, live within my little fantasy world, and not have to worry about, like, what my genes want me to do and how things are going to push me to do things in a certain way, that blah 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 blah. But it is the way it is. And I just have a lot of trouble accepting that. Like, accepting that I'm just human, and that things aren't going to go my way. Things are never going to go my way, ever. But yeah, that's my rant. Thank you for listening. Try to have a good day, I guess, after I've just completely blasted you with my existential crisis. But try to have a good day regardless. Bye.